Welcome back. I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you did. And I'm thankful for what I have. Um so today I would like to talk about separation of church and state. I know I have talked about this topic quite a bit and I would like to add more to the conversation. So, we all know the the cancellation of EBT, and it has affected many people. Personally, I don't agree with EBT pretty much at all, or I would like to see EBT and government assistance be eventually eradicated, honestly. I do not think that the United States government should be a charitable organization, if that makes sense. Um, they should enact charitable deeds on behalf of the people of the United States, if that is their will, right? We live in a uh, democratic republic that's based on the Constitution. I mean, um, so what I really see these social services as is I see this as a lack of separation of church and state, and that the government has too much power. Um, Likewise, we took the power away from the church, and now we have given it to the governments. It is a overcorrection, it seems like. For those of you that don't know, back in like 16th and 15th and 14th and 13th century, the church had a lot of political power and influenced a lot of governing decisions. Uh, and with the Anglican Church, that was like the first form of Protestantism in England. Um, and England went to the United States, and now we have the American Protestant Church. Pretty much, it seems like that seems like it's the main ideology, like a form of Protestantism. Um, Even though we do have a large population of Catholics, that there's a pretty good balance of denominations within the United States. And, I just feel like that these social services should be the powers that belong to the church. Um, like feeding the needy and taking care of the homeless and providing housing for pregnant single women, things like that. Um, I don't really think that should belong in the hands of the government. I feel like that the government having that power um, is infringing on the powers of the church by not allowing the church to do these things. And the church should do these things because they will have a more righteous judgment uh, say that if Jessica, who's Jessica, some name, let's say that Jessica wants to go to church and receive some aid, and they aid them, and she wants to go to the next church and receive aid as well. Well, usually churches talk to each other, and that would be seen as something as taking advantage of a helping hand, right? Um, I've heard stories of people getting EBT and turning around and selling what they got for cash, right? Just things like that. I feel like if the church, an entity that cares about, number one, not getting taken advantage of, and number two, teaching some sort of morality, and number three, they're gonna make sure that these people get taken care of. I see this as a win-win. Uh, I will donate to a church if they are helping the community. Um, there's that Bible verse talking about uh, if you feed the homeless and you give them water, that is like feeding and giving water to Jesus. So I believe it is a core tenet of Christianity, that's for sure. Um, being charitable. And I just think that the government should not be in the charitable business. That's it. I'm not saying that people in government shouldn't be Christian, uh, but they should not have control of that. We need this separation of power, um, and we need a strong church system to provide social services uh, that don't compete in the open market, right? They're not opening markets, and they are not providing long-term housing. It's just temporary housing to get people up on their feet. Um, and I just think that's a better system rather than tying my taxes up with charity that I may or may not agree with. And I think the American loving, if there are any American loving, let's say mosques, want to help with providing social aid, that's fine. Freedom of religion. I just don't like extremist views on religion that incite violence. But like, let's say there are ashrams, and let's say you practice yoga, and they want to be charitable. Go right on ahead. Uh, you know what I mean? It's just some people on their spiritual truth seeking, because that's what we are. We are truth seekers. They may go to an ashram and see what it's about, and then they may go to the Bible and see what that's all about, and they may go to um, a mosque and see what that, just learning information, um, and coming up with a uh, some type of idea about religion. Now, that's just some people, and I think that system is good, right? I personally believe in Jesus Christ, and I have studied other religions, and that is thanks to this system that we have here in America of freedom of religion. Now, you know, there are extremist groups and there are cults, and it's just an experience. Um, yeah, go test the spirits according to what the Bible says. Um, you know, if if you don't know, figure it out, right? Um, yeah, I would say that I respect Islam, but I don't want to practice it, right? And I don't want Sharia law over here, and I don't want just foreign cultures being the main culture. That's what I don't want. Um, I'm a personal fan of assimilation. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Uh, I think it's our right as Americans to want a certain cultural identity, such as a Christian identity, for the most part. I think that is perfectly reasonable, um, and we should have other religions be able to operate, right? Um, I think that is for good. I think all things work for God's glory, right? It's just a trust God type of thing. Um, and I would like to see more social services being put on the shoulders. Like, this is their responsibility, um, on these institutions that claim charity already. It's a part of their belief, right? I personally think that the uh, Christian religion is the safest. Um, I think Jesus Christ is true, and there's some sketchy parts of those other religions that they don't talk about, and essentially it is a self-deleting ideology, right? Like what is traditionally called Hinduism or yoga, and or Islam. They tend to promote a self-deleting ideology. Uh, when it all wait Whenever you look at the whole big picture of their ideology, right? Uh, think like something terrible of like seppuku, right? The Japanese uh, thought of self-deleting for honor, right? And Christians don't believe in that. We think that that's very harmful. And I think that that is a key logistical aspect of why Christianity is the best. Um, it does not teach that. It teaches to bear your cross, but that's a lot different. That's facing your problems in life. That's what that means. Um, that's a totally different set of ideas than self-deletion, right? Um, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And it was my birthday. I'm going to show you my present, my birthday gift. I really like it. It's a propane blowtorch. Uh, it reminds me of the engineer class on Battlefield. So I really like it. This is a really thoughtful gift, and yeah, be blessed. And is it Merry Christmas now already? Dang, man. I'm 26. I'm getting old. Yeah. I say I'm getting old. Okay, bye.